Good morning. I'm in California and we're starting a new course today. It's called Renewal over the weekend. So, Weekend of Renewal. And it's at the Chopra Center in Carlsbad. So I'll be here for the next few days and then I'm going to Canada. And from there on to New York again. And very soon the book tour is starting. So I'm continuing my daily ritual about answering questions that have been picked up by Aurora. And today's question, where did time come from? It's taken from the chapter, Where Did Time Come From? In our new book, You Are the Universe, Discovering Yourself. The book is by me and Manos Kafatos, who's a quantum physicist and cosmologist, and these discussions are happening in cyberspace, but they're going to be logged on in our new website, discoveringyourcosmicself.com. So if you missed this and you want to engage, you want to come back, just join us at discoveringyourcosmicself.com. Join us there. So Aurora passed on this question. What did you mean when you wrote, for as long as a person is alive, he or she is creating time, we never run out. We are creating time, we never run out. Could you please expand? Okay? So first let me read from the book directly, a little bit. Time was never meant to be our enemy. We turned it into one by saying things like, I'm running out of time, or time's up, which implies that human beings are trapped in the prison of time with no chance of escape, at least not until death reveals if the hope of an afterlife is true. Einstein found a way to make peace with time, however, when he said that past and future are illusions, only the present moment exists. This is one of those brilliant moments when the world's spiritual traditions and advanced science converged. Did an enlightened sage, a prophetic poet, or a famous physicist say the following: for eternally and always there is only now, one and the same now. The present is the only thing that has no end. The words are those of Erwin Schrödinger, who, like many quantum pioneers, drew closer to mysticism the more he understood the revolution he had helped to create. Since the mystical has fatal effects in science, what happens if we describe that Schrödinger was being completely literal? We would be left with a now familiar mismatch. Time in everyday life definitely moves from past to present to future. How can it be that time stands still, or even more incredible, that time was invented by the human mind? Go back in your mind to the childhood image you had of, if you were brought up in religion, of heaven. Whether you see angels playing their harp on clouds or green pastures with innocent lambs gamboling through them, every child is told that heaven is eternal. It lasts forever. To a child's mind, and the minds of many adults, eternity sounds boring and monotonous. Ultimately, it might even be frightening as time endlessly unfolds and harp playing and lambs lose their appeal. So that's a little bit from the book, from the chapter, which is Where Did Time Come From? Where did time come from? There are so many ways of addressing this, but I think the question that has been asked pertains to the experience of time. It pertains to the experience of time. human beings have created the construct of objective time. See, I remember once I asked a physicist, a cosmologist from Italy many years ago, very brilliant young feminine mind archetypally, and we used to call her Galilea. And I said to Galilea, "How old are you?" And she said, "I'm 3 years old." I said, "What do you mean you're 3 years old?" And she said, "Yes, because I'm studying Jupiter right now, and I'm 3 years old in Jupiter." So that's what she said. And she was right. So you can see that our construct of time, even objective time, when we say the universe came into existence 13.8 billion years ago, what we are saying is that 13.8 billion years in terms of human constructs and human imagination and human experience. We were not there, remember, 13.8 billion years ago. So we construct the beginning of the universe in our imagination as if we were there, and we construct it in terms of Earth time. This little speck of dust, in this immense, infinite void, somewhere in the junkyard of infinity, because we have created a junkyard around planet Earth, even in space. So we think of time in human terms. Earth time, linear time, is all in human terms. We say that 12 noon at Greenwich in England is standard mean time. So we created that, standard mean time, standard Greenwich time, and then we created longitudes, and we said so many degrees east of Greenwich, so many degrees west of Greenwich is the following time. Okay, so of course then we also create years from our experience of going around the sun, and from the experience of the seasons, we have seasonal time as well. We have the time of the year, and we construct that. It's a human concept. And then, of course, we look at the cycles of the moon and the relationship between the earth and the moon and the sun and all of that. And we also have months and lunar time and so on and so forth. So you can see that these experiences create the concepts of time we have, from months to years to eons to epochs. These are all constructs based on the experience of time, and therefore they are constructs. And they're important constructs, just as any construct that we have today that comes from science is very important. Okay, because these constructs also help us to navigate experience, and as a result of that, create the modern technology that we have, that we find so convenient for me to speak to you, for me to fly from New York to California yesterday, etc., etc. Every construct that we have created in human consciousness, including the construct, I have a body, I have a mind, I live in the universe, which is objective. These constructs have created amazing experiences of life. But life itself is timeless. Life itself is not in time. And by life I mean consciousness. By life I mean awareness. awareness, which is our fundamental reality, is formless. And being formless, it has no location in space or time. And having no location in space or time, it is eternal. But eternal not in the way I described it in the book in the first paragraph, eternal in terms of long duration, but eternal in that it is not in time, it is timeless. So, if you recognize that you are a timeless, formless being having the experience of form, and that collectively as humans who observe experiences and then objectify those experiences into mind, body, and world, then we create what we call objective time. And that objective time then can be measured in years, in months, in days, in minutes, in hours, in seconds, in microseconds, in nanoseconds, and so on, even in nanoseconds. And these constructs create the human universe, which is what this book is about, by the way. You are the universe, discovering your cosmic self and why it matters. But now let's go to why it is important to understand the experience of time, because we use expressions like, I am running out of time. I have so many deadlines, I don't have enough time. Or I had such a good time, time flew. Or I'm sitting at the dentist's office and time is dragging. Or I'm in love and time doesn't exist. Or I have reached the innermost core of my being, which is transcendent and beyond subject-object split. And now I know what it means to be timeless. Our fundamental reality is that we are timeless. Now, depending on how we experience time, which is a construct, we also change the experience of our body, which is a construct. I'll repeat. Depending on how we experience time, which is a construct of experience, but experience, as we know, is malleable, we also change the experience of our body, which is a construct. And it matters. It matters. Time matters. It becomes matter. Just as consciousness matters, it becomes matter. I'm using matters as a verb here. So let's take an example. If your internal dialogue, which is how yourself speaks to yourself, says, I'm running out of time, then what happens? Everything speeds up. Your biological clock speeds up, your heart rate speeds up, your blood pressure goes high, your platelets get jittery, there are high levels of adrenaline which cause inflammation in your body, then also there are high levels of cortisol which compromise your immune system, all constructs interacting with constructs. And such a person, which is also a construct, the person is a construct in timeless being, such a person soon runs out of time. They may have a heart attack, they may suddenly drop dead of a cardiovascular episode, and suddenly they have run out of time. So the internal dialogue of running out of time actually causes the biological clock to speed up, and if such a person has a heart attack, then they have run out of time. Death is running out of time. Physical death is running out of time. Okay, so one thing to learn from this is, don't ever even say, I'm running out of time. Time is not a commodity that you run out of. Time is an experience. So, of course, joyful experiences take us closer to the experience of timelessness. Love takes us in the direction of timelessness. That's why we say, oh, you're in love. You look so young. Looking young is, and feeling young, and being young in biology is love, which is moving you in the direction of timeless being. Okay, so we metabolize the experience of time into our biology. We metabolize the experience of time into the experience of our biology. And this affects everything, which includes our biological clock, includes our circadian rhythms, includes what we call biological aging, even at the level of the genetic clock. Aging is another construct that comes from the experience and interpretation of time. And we metabolize the experience of time into our body. Jennifer Davis Wood asks, time is an ego construct? Yes, time is the continuity of memory using the ego as our internal reference point. So the more we go beyond the mask of the ego, which is not our self, but our self-image, the more we enter the domains of timelessness. The more we enter the domains of timelessness. And then all these constructs, as they fall away, then we experience joy, we experience love, we experience exhilaration, we experience excitation, we experience ecstasy. So ecstasy, you know the word ecstasy, ektasis, to step out. And what do we step out of? We step out of the construct of our ego, and we step out of the construct of time into timeless being. Sharan Surdar, so would it impact rate at which telomeres shorten to? Yes. I'm reading this book right now, The Telomere Effect, by my friends, Alyssa Appel, and her partner, her professional colleague, who's a Nobel laureate, and Elizabeth Blackburn, and it's all about the telomere effect and how telomeres actually are, their length of telomeres is affected by things like meditation and mindfulness, all practices that take us out of the experience of time, or at least change our experience of time. So in the Yoga Vasishtha, which is a great Vedic insightful text, the great sage Vasishtha says, time is the consumer and we are its food. Time is the consumer and we are its food. Aurora Carlson says, telomeres measure happiness. Yeah, I would actually modify that a little bit, Aurora. I would say telomeres measure joy. I like to make a little distinction between joy and happiness. Happiness is always for a reason, but joy is the experience of the self. You don't need a reason to be joyful. Because if you have reasons to be happy, which is usually how people interpret happiness, I'm happy because I got a job, I'm happy because I got this promotion, I'm happy because I won the election. That happiness can be taken away from you anytime. it lasts as long as the reason. But when you're happy for no reason whatsoever, you're in a state of joy, and that state of joy is from your own timeless being. It's from your own timeless being. So, the great sage Vasishtha says, time is the consumer and we are its food. We are time's food. But by we, he doesn't mean the real awareness in which all experience happens. The awareness in all experience. So think of your thoughts as mental objects. Think of your emotions as mental objects. Think of your body as objects of sensations and sense experiences, right? Seeing, touching, feeling, thinking, perceiving, hearing, tasting, smelling. These are objects of awareness. No object of awareness can be the source of awareness. The objects of awareness are in time. The source of awareness, which is you, is not in time. So Lisa Bold says, I refuse to wear a watch in hope of finding true timelessness. Actually, you can wear a watch which says, now. What time is it? It's now. And then you can wear a watch and escape the prison of time as well. Okay, so now is the only timeless presence. Now is not a moment of time. Now is the timeless presence in which the experience of time is created and the measurement of infinity is created as this body-mind and this universe. Okay? You are the creator of time. You are the creator of mind. You are the creator of the universe. All human constructs coming from your fundamental level of awareness. So I'm looking at, Aurora had sent me these questions. I think I've answered the first question. And then the anonymous question from some anonymous questionnaire, person questioning. He says, my question is, it might be she. My question is, pure consciousness, the field of infinite possibilities, is beyond space and time, and therefore before the Big Bang. Yes, it's prior to Big Bang. This is a field of probability waves. Yes, again, field creates an image. It's a formless fundamental domain of probability waves. We access pure consciousness through meditation in the gap between our thoughts. Yes, pure consciousness is omniscient and omnipresent and non-local, and the only way to access this field is through our beingness. Is that right? Absolutely right. I have nothing to add there. Your being is not in time. Prior to a thought arising, there is only being, and being is not in time. As soon as thought arises, the experience of time starts. So time is or you can say the experience of time is the movement of thought. So I think I've answered the question. So do join this conversation in the new website we have created for you, discoveringyourcosmicself.com, and let's meet there every day. Let's join our discussions there every day. Let's participate there every day. And the book, once again, is You Are the Universe, Discovering Your Cosmic Self and Why It Matters. So I was going to read you a poem today from Tagore about time, but basically he says time is endless in your hands, my Lord, and I'm too poor to have time. Too poor to have time. In other words, the poverty of time comes from scarcity consciousness. Scarcity in not knowing that we are timeless beings, and as timeless beings, we have as much time as we want. Okay, so today, start experiencing flow in your life. Start experiencing flow, because when we're in flow, there is no time. Athletes tell me this, musicians tell me this, artists tell me this, ballet dancers tell me this. We all have these experiences which we call peak experience or moments of transcendence. The beauty of the mountain was breathtaking. Time stood still. Beauty, harmony, truth, goodness, joy, love. These experiences take us in the direction of our timeless being. Join us at discoveringyourself.com. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? Patty Ward says, I can't wait to see you at Renaissance Unity. Yes, I'll see you there. Okay? Take care, have a wonderful day, and stay in the flow by just always anchoring yourself in your true being, which is timeless being, timeless consciousness, timeless awareness, timeless self.